ever. It's pretty much the most super lightweight. Well, it's one of the most super lightweight desktops ever. And it's got a start menu down here in the corner, just like Windows, and use your programs or whatever. It's got virtual workspaces, just like GNOME does. And switch through here. I don't know, time in the corner.
What's this one called again?
It's called IceWM, ICEWM. I just downloaded it because it was like 10 megs, so it was really easy to get and show off.
Super fast.
Yeah, it's really fast. If you saw how quick that launched, this is running in a virtual machine under Mac OS, and this virtual machine's only got, I don't know, 8 gigs of hard drive space and like 256 megs of memory or something, and it launched instantly. So.
Do you happen to know what the smallest or fastest of these little window manager software that can still handle things like notifications and icons in your, indicator icons for your battery? And still gives you a little world to work in.
Yeah, what you do is, instead of using a monolithic desktop like GNOME, where it gives you all the notifications and the desktop bar and all that stuff that you want, what you can do is just install a really basic window manager like IceWM or some of these other ones I'm going to show you. Okay. And then you download the program that does the notifications, like Xnotify does that.
Oh, okay.
And then you download the program that does your email notifications, XBIF or whatever you want. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's really sort of the Unix philosophy, where you use a whole lot of small programs that each do their own little tiny piece of the puzzle, and you put them all together into a whole, as opposed to, say, Windows or Mac OS, where it comes with everything you need, and it's take or leave the whole thing. You can't really sort of pick and choose which specific parts you want.
So is it true that if I'm running GNOME, it's doing the same thing?
Right.
Okay, it's running all these little subsystems.
Right, GNOME just comes with all the little guys that you want. So if you don't like the notification thing for GNOME, you can just kill it and install your own little notification thing if you want.
They all follow some sort of notification standard or something.
Yeah, there's something called the global, or what is that? Like freedesktop.org.
Okay.
That's what it's called. And it's a standard for the little system tray. All your little system tray icons speak the freedesktop.org language and all the little stuff like that.
That's neat.
Right.
I'd be interested in knowing how you're switching these desktops. I noticed you did some kind of kill-all process.
Oh, okay. Well, that's so I don't have to try to hunt through the menus and figure out how to close out each session.
I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, all I do is kill all X, capital X.
He's just killing the whole
So that kills the whole X server. And that dumps me back to the command line. And then I edit a file. I use an editor called Vim. I edit a file called xinitrc, which is just in my home directory. And this is the file that is run whenever you start the X server using the command startx. So it goes through and runs all the stuff. Like if you always want a terminal to open up or your InstaMesher program to open up every time you start up your Linux desktop, you can just put that in here and say xterm, and then your xterm will automatically start in your .xinitrc. So,
uncomment them all.
yeah. So I'm going to fire up OpenBox. This is what a lot of the Arch Linux guys like to run because they're all really super minimalist. And like.
So you just started the X server again?
I uncommented that line, saved the file, and then hit start X again.
Type start X.
Why did that X start so fast?
OpenBox.
Well, that tells me why the window manager starts so fast.
Oh, right.
Well, why did X start so fast?
Oh, I don't know. Was that fast?
Is this the new version now? It used to be X took a second to think about things before it even launched the window manager.
Yeah, that was pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
now it looks like it starts instantly. I wonder when that started. I'm just too old.
It could be your drivers. Like I know my NVIDIA drivers take forever to start on my desktop. Anyway, this is like really basic. What a lot of people do with OpenBox is they'll download a little panel program that runs down here. There's one called PyPanel that's really popular, and they'll download a system tray panel that they run up here. And it's just a blank slate. You can just customize whatever you want.
Nice.
The only thing it provides is this little menu here. You can set your desktop background. You can change the theme. Let's see if I can get an external. Here's how you launch programs. You right-click on the desktop, scroll through this little thing, and pick whatever you want to start. Here's Firefox. The package, well, I don't know.
Fast.
kill X again here.
You all understand what's happening with the X being killed? Do you know what, do you follow that? Do you remember the old days with DOS, like when Windows 3.11 came out and you had to like, type win from a DOS terminal to get the GUI?
Yeah.
I mean, it's somewhat similar here in that you can choose to have Linux keep you in what we might equate to the DOS world, where you have lots of power. Most of the time it's hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the command prompt.
You know.
Yeah, so really the base of Linux is, it's called the kernel, so it's just like the very lowest base of the operating system. And then on top of that, we have this command prompt, this thing I'm typing on, which is just a program like any other program that just runs on top of it like a layer on a cake, and I access it down through there. And then on top of that, I can start a window manager that sits on top of that. So it's like a big stack of all these programs that make it easier for me to talk to the kernel of the operating system.
Does it actually sit on top? It sends things to the command line interpreter?
Well, if I start X through the command line, then it does sit on top of that, right?
Does it use the command line interpreter to?
Not after it's launched. It talks pretty
doing
much
its own
directly.
thing to the kernel.
Right, but I launch it through the command lines.
Oh, I see.
But lots of GUI programs are issuing the same commands that you would issue from the command line. So like when you were talking earlier about that meteorology program where someone at the command line renders all those photos, they have to know those commands. But you could build a GUI where you click this or that, or in a menu you click this or that, and it would execute those same commands, but you would never have to know them because it was embedded in.
So they're going off and invoking a loader of some sort, same way a command line interpreter does. If I say it.
Yeah, well, there's two ways you could do it. I mean, you could write like a wrapper program that basically just sits there and runs the commands in the interpreter, like you were saying, or you could write an actual program that speaks directly to the devices or whatever you want. So, I mean, it depends how much time you want to put into it or how much it
So
matters.
are both of those methods employed in what we're looking at?
The ones I was running, they speak pretty much directly to the X server, which the X server is another layer of the cake that it has its own way of communicating with it uses like a pipe, which is like a whole different method of communicating between processes.
Okay.
Anyway, this next one I've got is Fluxbox. So it's another nice little minimal one here. It's got multiple workspaces. This one comes with different themes, I think, different little styles. Mess around and make it look different here.
Wow.
I think this is the most minimal one that does, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which one is this again?
It's called Fluxbox.
Fluxbox.
And there are a bunch of different things that are something box. There's like OpenBox and Fluxbox and all these different ones that are all basically the same deal. You right-click on the desktop to get a menu. It's really minimal. I used to use this a lot. It's got some pretty neat features. You can really configure it. Like I used to like focus follows mouse. Let's see if that has it on. Which means when you move your mouse on top of a window, it automatically highlight it as soon as you move your mouse over it.
It's just an option, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different options to do that. There's something called sloppy focus, which is where if you're typing in here and you accidentally mouse over here, but you're still typing, it won't switch and stuff.
That's a good feature.
That would save me a lot of aggravation.
I know. And this one is called Enlightenment. Yeah, so this is the Subversion version. This is the latest little bits just to come out today. This is an operating system that's it had a really cool version like 5 years ago, and then they've been working on the next version for like the last 5 years, and they keep going, oh, it's almost ready, but it's never been finished. But it's got a lot of like cool eye candy stuff, like the menus. The little mouse has like a little gleamy thing on it. The menus all kind of zoom around and stuff.
Does it require a compositor?
No, because this is